Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hello. Welcome to another 33rd historical event. It is 1801 and this is the battle for Egypt. Stage 1. Landing at Abakir Bay. Determined to drive out the last remnants of Napoleon's expedition in Egypt at Alexandria, British forces attempt a landing at Abakir Bay. A small French force holds the beachhead. Their artillery, however, may prove to be the British downfall as the landing parties make their way ponderously inland. As you can see, there's an invasion going on. And these fine battleships out here, I suppose they're maybe third, fourth rates. There's got an awful lot of Brits on board. In fact, it's teeming with British soldiers. And they are going to be making their way to the fort. It is on the shore peninsula, maybe? Difficult to say. But here they come. Members of the 33rd. More members of the 33rd. Members of the 25 PP. Look at them getting all set up and ready to go. Somebody doing their Titanic bit. Corporal Henry. Now, let's go and have a look at the fort that's defending them. As I pause to cough. So, you can see this sort of Pepperport fort up the top here on the hill. It's kind of, you know, minuscule in comparison. But it does have cannons facing in 4 compass directions. And seems to have a greenhouse up there for God only knows what reason. Anyway, the Brits are coming to land. The French await them. Muskets in hand. The 45th getting set up for the landing. Under the command of Dother. Oh, fantastic volley coming in from the lads there. Oh dear. Oh no. Down goes the boat. Will the boys be able to make it out in time? Mass drowning is occurring. Some have made it. Some have not. And now they're on an outcropping and have to make their way through this treacherous section to then push their advantage against the French hordes. Now, interesting to see that now they're being a bit sharper about it. And they're staying... Well, they seem to be dripping bodies right now. But they're trying to stay over to the right of the rocks to give them the advantage. Now, the French have seen this. And are making their way over. To essentially meet the invasion forces. With a little bit of firepower. We've got some lights down here from the 92nd. Ina McEwen. And the 16th are making their way back in order to support on the hill any attempts to invade. Here we go, see what I mean? Here is the 92nd. Detachment of them waiting. Complete with Fifer Ryan Mackay. So the Brits are now landing. Stumbling ashore under the gunfire. They're going to make their way over to the left-hand side. It's the only way they're going to make it in. And it looks like the 25 PP are getting murdered pretty brutally by the Brits. The greenhouse still remains safe. But the Brits are piling in mass numbers as the French break an attack, with veteran Alf doing some fine drumming work. Oh, pulls his sword out. He's going to have to defend himself. And now you can see these guys trying to form a bridgehead, establish a defensive position on the beach, and then make their way up. But things like this aren't going to help. Grape shot coming in. That's going to be deadly. Now you can see the members of the 45th in a line, double line here, waiting for the landing of the Brits. But they've got to watch out, as these guys here have jumped down the cliffs and are attacking the remaining Brits on the beach. Oberleutnant Gleno is the last man surviving from the Marines, now finished off. And so we move our way over and find out what happens next. The cannons continue to be set up for the eventual grape shot that will be fired. The Brits in the trenches, sorry, the French in the trenches from the 16th, continuing to provide supporting fire as the Brits still attempt to land. But look at this over here on the right, the 45th, and now you can see here, along with the Corporal Wolf and Colonel Nova, they move up even closer. Oh, this is going to be deadly for the British. Bodies sliding down the rocks as they're cut down by the musket fire. There's Tunfish getting in there, getting a bit aggressive. Going in for a quick stab and a grab. And it's kind of holding the enemy there. And these guys are now coming under attack from both directions. Not a good situation for them, as more French continue to arrive in reinforcements. Look at that, just a line of... Hang on, what's going on here? A French invasion force. The 92nd are going... Oh, heavens! Oh, wow. Oof, indeed. Beautiful kill there. More bodies everywhere. Oh dear. Look at that. Just a line of bodies. Down goes another man. That was LePage. And there we go, the naval combat. The French are attacking. Very aggressive play here from the French. These two seem to be quite ambitious in their intentions. And this has become essentially a naval combat map now. The 92nd on one boat. The 16th on another. Oh dear. Oh no. The 92nd have sunk. They're going to have to get up onto the island as quickly as they possibly can before they run out of air. Oh dear. Well, they managed to make it with a large majority of them and the flag. And here comes some more French in the boat, as you can see, reversing slowly. Oh dear. A few of them have been left on the sand. Members of the 92nd, obviously they missed the boat, quite literally and figuratively. But now it means that the French can start pushing their advantage back onto the British. And the Brits here defending this position. Dimitri under a lot of fire from... and down he goes. So now the British can move in their boats. As the French are getting a little bit of a drive-by going on here with the Brits. Seems to be a lone Frenchman there in there. George Campbell. Colour Sergeant Major for the 92nd. Having a nice afternoon sail. Bit of boaty fun as the 45th now move over towards the spawn point. And you can see now the boys having to move their boats. Okay. Out. In order to stay away from the French rampaging forces. Oh dear. Some of them can't take being at sea for so long. Fine drumming work coming in from the lads there. Who's this on the front? Perun. And there you have it. The French have successfully defended their fort. Wow. Oh my goodness, Jesus Christ is here. What can you say? Well, here we are on the next stage. Part of the Battle of Alexandria. Stage 2, Alexandria. Having successfully landed, the British press on towards Alexandria. The French, however, seize the initiative and commence their own attack in one final pitched battle, the offensive hitting home in the early hours of the 21st of March. French offensive primarily engaged the British centre in force, attempting to drive a wedge here and sever the British line in two. And it's a bit foggy. So we move out here into the desert. Obviously, I'm guessing that's the way they're going to go. That's usually a dead giveaway. Got some fine lancers in here. Trooper KKKKKKKKKKK. And recruit Sean. And here is the 16th. Now, let's see. Who is over here? The 92nd, there's Roy Otto. Now moving out in the form of a double line. We have the 45th. Under the command of Dothor. Here is the 92nd, currently lost. Here is the KK. At the camp. Trying to keep warm along with the 33rd. And other members here of this 33rd detachment. So you can see them, it's going to be difficult for them to actually see where the enemy's coming from. Corporal Ronnie Conn of the KK.
God save the king!
Holding the jack. And there's our old friends, the VA Guard. With, of course, Colonel LePage. With what looks like a slightly newly trimmed moustache. He's moving out with his boys. Making their way through the fog. As you can... There we go. Don't push beyond the picket line. So we wait. Listen to that wind whistling through. You would think it would clear the fog away, but no. But it's going to make the battle rather interesting, as enemies will appear out of the fog quite significantly. The possibilities for ambush quite high. France may attack, and the Brits have to keep their eyes peeled, as the saying goes. When the first shots are had, normal line battle rules apply. So, oh, there we go. The Brits have spotted them, and they've immediately shot and retreated. The 32nd retreating back to their established line here. Managed to get a few casualties. Look at that. Through the fog, the French are lining up and getting ready. Wow. Just what we need. More smoke in this. It's so difficult to find a target in all this fog. Maybe the fire will eventually burn some of this fog away. But right now, it's a battle for vision. Wow. The VA Guard just lost their corporal. Renault. And also another member of their Grenadiers, Alain. And now they're moving out. Supporting another line. Over here on the right, the 25 PP. Moving in behind. Trying to support their right flank. Gotta watch out, as those buggers could just appear out of the smoke anyway. No, they're losing more. The VA Guard. Thierry and Auguste being felled by the fire coming in. The French doing... oh, that volley. Look at that. A beautiful volley coming in from the 45th. And there's the doctor, Alberto, with some fine bandaging work. Keeping the boys alive. As you can hear, the volleys of musket shots around them. The smell of cordite in the air. What's going on over here? Aleko the Greek, Major General, and other members of the 16th, following Ensign Lone Beast. They make their way through the fog. You can see some more melee occurring in the fog here. And now the Brits are backing up slightly as reinforcements come charging in from the 33rd. Look at that. Wow. And now they're breaking and attacking as the French are also firing from the right flank as well. More fire coming in from these fellas. Now they're breaking attack. Is that just called Sugar Tits? It was. Recruit Sugar Tits. So, we shall watch his career with interest. As we can now see Sticklets from the 33rd fighting for his life. As you can see, a lot of French here in this battlefield, forcing the Brits to back up quite considerably. Oh, there's a horsey, a lancerman coming in as well. One man left holding the jack. Corporal Ronnie Con. He's left the jack there, hopefully to mark his point and rally the troops. But there seems to be a lot more Brits right here than there are Frenchmen. But it looks like the 25 PP are doing a good job of trimming the numbers down. Here's Metal Maniac of the 16th Lancerman. Correction. Ex-Lancerman. It's weird, I've noticed when I'm doing the casting that it takes a little while for my voice to warm up. It's very strange. I haven't done a cast for a while. So we're watching here as this fine drummer and fifer man defends himself from an onslaught of French. And sadly for him, it was not to be the outcome he wished for. And now we watch Alberto defend himself against multiple Brits. Good job he's doing there until finally murdered. His teammate, or his opponent, had to team kill a friend in order to do it though. Now, what's going on here? So we're watching KKK. Is he going to dismount is the question. Distinctly, possibly not. He may not last long against the bayonet of the enemy. Look at that. So KKK or kick. Looking for that lone man to try and murder. And that was only a matter of time. Horses brought down. Okay, it's finished off. And so we're on to the next stage. Stage 3. Alexandria. The fighting in the British centre continues to rage, with the first rays of morning beginning to illuminate the firefight. Still, the Battle of Alexandria at the Roman ruins. So, you can see here the guys making their way to the Roman ruins. An amphitheatre. You can see there, Sticklets already waiting for the entertainment. Now you can look over the top here for the rock that this is dug into. Gives a good defensive position. And you've now got some of the Brits moving out from the 33rd. Now the question is, where are the French? It could be they're out there in the field somewhere. Oh, hello. Here they are, soon to make their way towards the ruins. And I think it's fair to say the Brits have a defensive bonus, considering they can hide behind hard cover. Here's Lieutenant King George, along with Fusilier Arriva. And there's Wolo. Wolo. And it's a stand-up fight against the French. Man-on-man action right here. Muskets in hand. It looks like the 33rd lost more people in that sudden, brutal stand-up fight. And there we go. It looks like now they're pulling back the 16th as the armies are moving over here. There's Lepage and the VA Guard moving out on an outflanking position, forcing the French to move back. The 25 PP supporting with cavalry sniffing around. So, let's see. The Brits still over here on an outflanking possible position. They are taking the odd casualty. But the Brits are staying back, supported by their cavalry. Now they're starting to push forward. Up on the right flank and over on the far right flank here. We have the 92nd supported in the ruins by the 33rd. And the KK. So, let's see what happens as we look over here. Lieutenant Colonel Peter McFay. Fifer of choice is Ryan McKay of the 92nd. So they want to try and sneak their way past these ruins. Maybe get into an outflanking position against the Brits if they can. Might not work if they give away that position. There's the Imperial Eagle, flying proudly in front of the French. Now, Corporal Ronnie Conn has the jack, holding it up as more defences of this ruin continues. As the cavalry is out there doing its thing, circling around, looking for an opportunity to attack at the moment that is most beneficial for them and least beneficial for the enemy. Here is the 33rd. Whoops a daisy. The 33rd. Looks like they've just lost a man. One of the Marines. And now they're pushing up against the 45th peasant, defending himself, but sadly didn't work out well for him there. Down goes Rabadox. Here's Sugar Tits. Let's watch Sugar Tits see how she gets on. Comrade dies nearby, looking for that opportunistic stab. He's about to get said tits removed. Yep, that's exactly what happens. The Sugar Tits are no more. They're running towards Random Horse. They're turning to fight members of the 45th. Look at that levy fighting out. Retired Valerico of the 45th, taking on multiple Brits until finally stabbed in the bottom. Lance Corporal S. Hype, one of the few remaining. Is he going to go for the flag holder? He is. But he's got to watch out. The Marines are onto him. He's now choosing to back up and cheese it in the opposite direction. As over the hill comes the Brits. Supported also by members of the 92nd, the French army. With their backs against each other to try and defend each other from the attacking forces of the British Army. The lobster backs doing their thing. Fine defensive work here from James Black. Until I mentioned it and then he gets murdered, of course. George Campbell has grabbed the jack. The enemy flag. The colours have been lost. The King's colours have been lost. As we move over here to see a rather close French battle. Oh, that was a cheeky shot. There's KK. Been recently dehorsed. And now he's been de-lifed. Courtesy of a 17-inch bayonet. So who's this sole person? It's S-Hype. One kill, maybe. And there he gets killed by regulation. Oh dear. George Campbell, Colour Sergeant Major, is the only man left standing. And here he is. Fine blocking coming in from his enemy. And a fine stab. Sticklets with the final kill. And here we are on the next stage. Stage 4. Alexandria, the Roman ruins. The initial French attack in the centre is met with some early success in the darkness, with one French division passing straight through the British line towards the older Roman ruins. The 42nd Highland Regiment stands alone to defend the ruins and prevent the French from rolling up the British line. Sunset. As we move over to have a look at the Brits. As they move out of their spawn, organised with all the regiments. Well, one or two. The 33rd moving out. The 32nd moving out. The VA Guard moving out. Still yet to go. The forces of the 25 PP. And here we can see the 92nd in full flow, supported on their right flank by the 16th. Two detachments of the 16th. And following in their rear is the 45th. Complete with their doctor and Captain Lord Hansel at the back. So, here they are, engaging the British. You can see long distance, they're starting to get range, as you can see. Invitational welly with a nice shot. Bob the Knob has just been sliced down with a sabre. See if we can find out where that's going on. Well, let's see. Over here you got some circling cavalry. Looks to have taken out some of the members of the 33rd Hussars. There's Diaz. Now horseless. Fighting against his opponent with a fine slice. Just looking for a horsey now. There's a horsey over here. Question is, will horsey run away before he gets to it? No, he doesn't. There you go. He's now back on a horse, galloping to support his teammates. As the members of the 25th, all dressed up as Marines. Oh dear. Fire coming in from the 45th. Doing a number on them. There's Ursus, the drummer. Fine volley coming in from the 33rd. Wonderful volley there. Trimming the numbers of the French army. Down by a few more numbers. The number of dead pretty much equal on both sides. Bit of doctoring from Alberto. As the lads move out. You can see these boys in as lights. Which is why they have a really broken up formation. But look at this up on the hill. They're in danger of being outflanked by these British. You can see the two lines moving closer. Trying to get that all-important range. Yeah, range. I knew what I meant. That all-important range to get the kill. The world's most effective pistol in the history of our warfare. Yeah, well done. Couldn't shoot it. Couldn't hit a barn door from 10 paces. Probably couldn't hit a barn door if you're inside the barn. But that said, a little bit of sustained fire into the British army has forced them to retreat slightly. Maybe pull back a little bit. The 25 BP being tended to by their doctor, Marion Chikwasi. Chikawasi? Marion. Let's leave it at that. And here is Lieutenant Colonel Elphinstone of the 33rd. With that wonderful nose. Colour Sergeant Barnes. Merits to thank you all off. Goodness, what an invitational name that is. Oh dear, random dead horse. And there's Lieutenant King George. Working together. Oh, down goes Edward Hay. And down goes Burns. So, they've lost a few there. Snoopy Matrix, what a great name. Private of the 32nd, these guys sorting themselves out of their line. Taking pot shots at the enemy. The KK have planted the light flag. And Tricolores down. In front, keeping the guys motivated. Maybe not him. Elliot Brown taken down by the crying noob from the 33rd. Wow. And in comes the cavalry looking for an opportunity. And that's what they got. As here we go. Horsemen of the 33rd. In with that long-reaching cavalry saber, slicing him across the stomach. And gets shot in the face for his own trouble. By a teammate. You can't make it up. Alexander managed to find a horse again. Trying to slice the enemy. Slicing down the remaining Brits. Sorry, the remaining French. Ingressors from the 16th. About to have a bad day. Oh, look at that block. Sadly, it was not to be. Dear, oh dear. Still a reasonable amount of people left alive on both sides. Sorry about that, I had to take a quick pause. Okay, so it looks like Sugar Tits has just finished off Elphinstone. And here they are. Here is the battle between the 33rd and the 45th. Veteran Wilmer. It's difficult to say who has the advantage of numbers. Couple of gents standing by. There's Ursus. Doing some fine drumming. Now defending himself. Look at this. Brutality from all directions. And there you go, the French win the round. And so, with the sound of seagulls in the background, we are on the final stage. Stage 5, Alexandria, stand fast 28th. With the battle in the ruins to the rear still raging, the British right flank finds itself momentarily cut off from the rest of the British line and threatened from both front and rear. The 28th Foot, strung out in a 2-rank deep line, famously give the order for the front rank to stay where they are and the rear to about face. The regiment fights back to back for its very survival as the French charge in. So you can see here the cavalry pouring out, getting organised, ready for the off. All these fellows. Tunfisk there. Look at that. Fine fellows. Guillaume of the VA Guard. Caporal. Reno. And there, the freshly trimmed Lepage. So, we wait for the inevitable off. As you can see some of the cavalry there, eager to get going. The KK, very eager to get going. Look at this. Oh dear. Oh, that's unfortunate. So they want to try and get some people behind them as well, as the Brits are going to be defending this position. And the French may charge. Ensign Hayden Unicorn. Oh heavens, look at this. Here are the Brits. The charge from the right. They're moving in behind the enemy. Another charge from the other side. Classic pincer movement. And then they turn and charge into the rear. Rear rank about face. Oh god, there's no time. Oh my goodness. All directions. Holy crap. The brutality. As the bits break under the pressure. Coming from all directions of the cavalry. It's now a pitch battle for survival. Horses being finished off. Enemies being dehorsed. Murdered very quickly on the ground. Oh dear, they've just lost their doctor. And quite a few of the cavalry have come a cropper. Look at this. Veteran Dillon. A long cavalry sabre. Didn't do him much good. Whoops-a-daisy. Oh, hello. As the horses are all brutally murdered. As the remaining horsemen are also then finished off. Now, the cavalry... Oh, goodness me. He got finished off very quickly. That was Turkish Panda, I think. Or may have been one of the members of the rear guard. The cavalry charging in from the rear again. And the front. Look at this. Just swarm all over the enemy. The Brits literally shooting in all directions. I don't know why they didn't do a square, but you know, whatever. Probably harder to do than people think. And still they prevail against the cavalry. They lose quite a few of their own number, but the cavalry definitely comes a cropper against the sheer firepower of the British forces. Oh, those guys gonna get picked off by the cavalry if they move too far from the main group, because in comes another section right down the barrel. Oh, look at that! Oh my goodness! Just bodies everywhere, the cavalry just getting brutalized by the musket fire coming in here. And the Brits doing a fantastic job of defending their position, claiming so many casualties of the horses. Couple of people on the random rocks there seem to enjoy themselves over here, keeping themselves out of trouble. Jam dodger. God, I could really do with a jammy dodger right now. God, I love those things. In fact, you can get mini jammy dodgers, which are even better. And there we go, another cavalryman dehorsed. And in comes the next wave of cavalry. Wow, 2 minutes left. They've got a hold for 2 more minutes against the relentless barrage of the cavalry coming in right down the front. Look at that. Jumping over the top, being dehorsed, flying into the mid of all those men, and then having to fight for survival on the outskirts. And then managing to survive in some aspects, but then the British foot break, start the melee, and it all becomes very nasty for them. See what I mean? Little man dehorsed there, and then murdered. The UK get no more respawns. They've got to hold out as another line of cavalry comes charging. Look at that. Look at that wave waiting for them. It's literally like being standing on a beach and being hit by wave after wave after wave. Horde mode almost. With 15 seconds left, they've still managed to hold it. But the cavalry coming in again. Will they manage to hold it up? I'm surprised they're not bunching up a bit further, because the cavalry's coming charging in. This could be the moment where it breaks them. You just have to wait and see. Oh, goodness me. Look at that. Wow. And there you go. There you go. The Brits defended it. Wow. What an ending. And that, ladies and gentlemen, has been the final round.